This is task 2B part 2, where you're now going to develop and print the template. Now I'm going to go through everything in here except for saving it as a template and the watermark, which I'm going to cover in parts 3 and 4. But of course you need to do part 4, you need to include the watermark before you can actually print this for part 2. So you'll just need to have a look at those videos before you actually complete this task. So we did a design where our design was based on these requirements, so we ought to use our design. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set up our memo based on this. So first of all, I've got to look at my page layout. Well, my page layout is going to be in portrait. It's already in portrait, and I want it to be A6. Now A6 is half of A5. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it to be A5 to start with, and then we're going to customize that paper size. So this is A5. Now, if you know how to calculate your page widths, what you would do is halve the height, so that will now be 10.5 centimeters, and the width becomes the height. So 10.5 centimeters. Because we're taking half an A5 paper, folding it in half, or you can just look those up on the net and you'll find out those values. So this is now our A6 piece of paper. So we need to have something that says memo at the top, underneath it is going to say subject, and at the bottom we're going to have info@lamplights.info. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in as a footer because I don't know how much text is going to go in there, so we'll put that in here. Now we've got to sort out our styles. So this needs to be black, 12 point, so let's have a look. Well, at the moment we're 11 points, let's change that to 12, and Times New Roman. So I'm going to select Times New Roman. You'll probably have to scroll down a little bit further if you haven't used it recently. Now, so that I can, in this document, keep just using that style over again if I need to, you won't get any extra marks for this, but this does help. If I update the normal style, okay, to match that selection, okay, this is now my normal style. So whenever I want to write something in a normal style, so if I just press enter a couple of times, I can now change this to be normal, and it will be my Times New Roman. Now my subject, because that's been based on normal as well, is nearly there. We've got our Times New Roman. We've got, oh, it's not black, it needs to be blue, so we'll change that to blue. It doesn't say which shade of blue, so that's okay. It needs to be 14 points, and we're leaving it as left aligned. So what I'm going to do now is go to my heading 2 style, and I'm going to update my heading 2 style to match that selection. So if I need any more subtitles, I can use that as heading 2. It's just a little tip as you go along anyway, because this is quite a simple task, this part. So this needs to be blue as well. It needs to be 18 points. It needs to be in Times New Roman, and it needs to be centered, and it needs to be bold. So we'll now go to our heading 1 and update. Now if you notice I forgot to make this one bold, so we'll just go back, okay, and again we can update our heading 2 to match that selection. So there's my layout. I'm going to make sure it meets all of these requirements. It does, except for the watermark. Let's go back to our original requirements. Have I used this particular font? Yes, I have. Have I used this? Now check every little bit. Go, yes, it's blue, tick. Yes, it's bold, tick. It might seem quite anal to have to do that, but it's what's going to make sure you get the marks. Is it A6 portrait? Yes, I did that. Is it portrait? Yes. Has it got that title? Has it got the subject? Is it beneath the title? I haven't done the watermark yet, so we won't get that mark, but I'm going to show you that in part 4. Has it got the college email address? Is it spelt correctly? Is it black? Well, yes it is, because when I go into the footer we can see that it's black. Okay, so apart from the watermark, I'm now ready to print that. You may want to change margins, that's fine. You can do whatever you want to with this document. You might find that you don't want to show evidence until later because you've got to do things in part C that might impact on what you've done in part A.